Now I want to circle back to one of the activities I showed you in the first video that demoed exactly what all these activities are. In particular, this one, exploring science through journaling. Now, if you recall, this is the one that had a number of different topics for the students to pick from that they were going to be writing about. So this one in particular could be reused a number of different times, and you could ask the students to pick a different topic each time they do that. Instead of creating this question over and over again, I just wanted to show you a shortcut, if you're not familiar with it, on how to actually save things to your Schoology resources and then import them back into your course as a duplicate type of activity. Again, you could do this for other types of activities that you're doing, even if you only have to make minor changes to it. So, for example, if you were doing something like a daily math activity or a weekly math brain challenge of some kind, and you are only going to be changing a little aspect of it, maybe it's the specific problem, but the instructions and everything else were going to be the same, you could save yourself a little bit of time by just copying this to your resources and then bringing it in again as a duplicate. So let me just show you the steps to that. So I'm not going to go through the steps of actually creating this one. I'm going to go back over to my course, into the folder where this activity was created. This activity was a short answer question type, so it was just like the one that we looked at before with what's going on in this graph. So if I'm going to use this activity again, I'm going to click on the wheel next to it, and I'm going to save it to resources. Now, if you're not familiar with resources, resources is sort of like your OneDrive, L Drive. It's your storage space that is specifically located in Schoology. So where do you want to put it in resources? I have different folders. They call them collections, but they're different folders in the way that I organize things. So I'm going to put it into one of my folders, or I could just leave it in the home folder for now. And I'm going to click Save Copy. So now a copy of that activity lives in my resources up here. So it is a copy. So if I were to make changes to this activity that I already assigned to my students, it's not going to do anything to the copy that I have in resources. It's not a shared copy. So now let's say, for example, I'm going to go back over in my course, and for the second week I want the students to repeat this activity, but they're going to pick a different journal entry. So what I'll do, instead of creating a brand new assessment and going through all those steps all over again, all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the line so that I can add materials, but I'm not going to click Add an Assessment. I'm going to select Import from Resources. So now I'm going to be able to pull something from resources. So you recall I had saved it to my little home folder, so it's going to be right here. So I'm just going to select it, and I'm going to click Import. And you will be asked to make some changes in terms of due date and category. So if you don't have a due date and you're going to put the due date on this so that it shows up in the calendar, this is something that will not import. You will have to make that change here. So if I was going to have a due date on this, I would select that here. And then you could also change the point value or anything like that. So then I'm going to click Import, and that's it. So now for week 2, that activity is ready to go for my students, and they'll be able to pick another journal prompt and be able to do this activity. Let me just go back over to resources just so you can see what resources actually looks like. So resources is here, and you remember I had saved it to my home folder. They call it collections. But if you wanted to kind of organize stuff that you save to resources, this is where you would do it. You would click Add a Collection / folder, and you would create a new folder, and you could save things specifically to there, whatever organization method works for you. So this is just a little quick way to show you how to save you a little bit of extra work if you can, depending on the activity that you create.